Yep, that's pretty much Insidious Chapter 3. What's up everybody, I'm the Higgs and welcome to MMO Play Dailies, your one-stop shop for gaming, countdowns, rants, reviews, and more. Today we're having a look at the most recent sequel in the Insidious saga, Chapter 3. This will be a spoiler-free review, so let's jump on in. Insidious Chapter 3 takes place a few years before the events of the first movie and features a new family being haunted by the same sort of demony, weemony creatures you know and love from the first two films. Returning to the story is Elise, the psychic, as well as her team of lovable misfits. Let's jump into what works. The style of the first two movies is definitely there in this one, even if it's only an echo and doesn't add much original thought to it. Psychic Elise is just as interesting and wonderful to watch as always, and there are some legitimate scares, especially in the first half of the film. It's paced relatively well and has a very different feeling from the first two. So now let's jump into the negatives. This movie suffers from the same problem as Madden games, WoW expansions, and Assassin's Creed properties. It's just nothing new, and the breaths from the past are so diluted and unoriginal feeling at this point that they feel familiar but not necessarily welcome. Now it is true that in this series we're used to being scared in upper middle class yuppie ass neighborhoods, and this movie takes place in a city apartment, so it does feel different, but only kind of. When the lights are off, that apartment feels pretty similar to the old house and to the old movies. Something this movie actually did very well for me was to get me thinking about what a great horror movie is, and it did that by not being anywhere close to one. I think great horror scares you in ways that you've never been scared before. This movie scares you entirely, and I mean entirely, with jump scares. The few attempts at visual scares or other kinds of scares are either tired or boring, and the acting in this thing is generally boring as well as completely predictable. I was especially disappointed by Dermot Mulroney, I think that's how you say his name, who I usually either like or at the very least don't get annoyed by. He was capital T terrible in this movie and was, I kid you not, almost entirely unaffected by everything that was going on around him. Oh, you got some terrible tragedy in your past that gets brought up suddenly by someone you love and you're forced to face it without wanting to? How do you react to that? Oh, one of your only living relatives is in clear mortal danger and you have no idea what to do about it? How do you react to that? Oh, you just saw something that confirms the existence of life after death when you've been doing everything in your power to avoid ever having to even wonder about those kinds of questions and issues. How do you react to that? I don't think you're sexy. What? But look at this face. All in all, this movie is pretty much what you think it will be, except slightly better, but not much. It's certainly not a great genre movie, it's certainly not a great movie in general. Now, we're going to try out a new rating system here. I am giving Insidious Chapter 3 an appropriate, I think, 3 Lonely Tavern Keeper with a bunch of low-level quest ales out of 10. What do you think about Insidious Chapter 3? Am I wrong here? Let me know in the comments below. I have been the Higgs from MMOplay.com, and this has been an episode of MMO Play Dailies. Be sure to thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video like a venereal disease. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you Monday.